A woman's scream slices through the darkness, raw, desperate, begging for anyone to help. It's 3 a.m., and her voice echoes off cold buildings, but the windows stay shut, the streets silent. This is Kitty Genovese's story. A 1964 murder that didn't just steal her life, it exposed a chilling truth about what we do or don't do when someone's in danger. Did people really stand by as she fought to survive? Or is the reality even more haunting? Hit subscribe, y'all, and let's dive into this true crime nightmare that changed the world. Let's meet Kitty Genovese, a 28-year-old firecracker born in Brooklyn in 1935. She was the kind of person who lit up any room managing a bar in Queens with a smile that could melt ice. Kitty lived in Kew Gardens, a tight-knit middle-class neighborhood sharing a cozy apartment with her girlfriend, Mary Ann Zielonko. She loved jazz dancing till dawn and cruising in her red Fiat. Neighbors knew her as the friendly girl who'd wave before heading to work late. Her shifts often ended at 2 or 3 a.m., so she'd roll home when the streets were dead quiet. Queens in 1964 felt like a safe bubble. Kids played outside, doors stayed unlocked, but at night it was a different story. Nobody suspected a predator was out there watching. Winston Mosley, 29, was a walking contradiction office worker by day, husband and father, but a monster by night. He'd slip out of his house hunting for victims, his mind a cold void. Kitty had no idea she was in his sights. Her life was full, love, dreams, laughter. But that night in March, everything shattered. Hold up, y'all, this is where it gets heavy. It's March 13th, 1964. 3:15 a.m. Kitty pulls her Fiat into a parking lot near her apartment at 8270 Austin Street. She's exhausted, probably dreaming of sleep. As she steps out, Winston Mosley's already there, stalking her in the shadows. He picks her at random, a hunter choosing his prey. He rushes up, knife flashing, and stabs her twice in the back. Kitty's scream is pure terror. "Oh God, he's stabbing me." Help her voice cuts through the night loud enough to wake half of Kew Gardens. A neighbor, Robert Moser, hears it and leans out his window yelling, "Leave her alone." Mosley freezes, then bolts his car, screeching away. For a moment, it feels like Kitty might make it. Lights flicker on in the apartments above, faces peer out. Curtains twitch. But then most go dark again. Some neighbors think it's just a lover's quarrel, maybe drunks fighting. A few see Kitty stumble toward her building, blood soaking her coat, but they hesitate, scared to get involved. "It's not my business," one later admits. Kitty, weak and terrified, drags herself into the hallway of her apartment building, collapsing out of sight. 10 minutes tick by, 10 endless minutes. Mosley circles back calm as death. He finds her in the hallway, barely able to move her breath, shallow. He attacks again, his knife relentless, stabbing her over and over. He assaults her, steals $49 from her purse, and checks to make sure she's gone before walking away. Kitty's pleas fade into whispers, her life slipping away. A neighbor, Sophia Farrar, hears the final commotion and runs downstairs, no hesitation. She cradles Kitty, trying to comfort her, holding her close as her pulse stops. Kitty dies on the way to the hospital alone, but for Sophia's arms. The neighborhood falls silent, but it's a silence heavy with guilt. Why didn't more people act? Was it fear, apathy, or something deeper in us all? Y'all, what happens next turns this tragedy into a legend. Police swarm Austin Street by dawn, finding Kitty's body in the hallway, her blood staining the floor. They question neighbors who mumble about screams and shadows, but claim they didn't see enough to act. The investigation moves fast. 6 days later, March 19, 1964, cops catch Mosley trying to steal a TV in another part of Queens. Under pressure, he spills everything, not just Kitty's murder, but two others, Barbara Kralik and Annie Mae Johnson. His voice is flat chilling. He killed because he felt like it, no remorse, no reason. Cops are floored. This guy's a family man, yet he's a predator who hunted for sport. They dig into the neighbors' stories, and that's where things get murky. A New York Times article drops a bombshell claiming 38 witnesses saw or heard Kitty's attack, but did nothing, no calls, no help. The public erupts, branding Kew Gardens a heartless place. But the truth's messier. Only a handful saw anything clear, and some did call police, though the calls got lost in a clunky system or brushed off as minor. Moser's shout scared Mosley off once, and Sophia Farrar risked everything to hold Kitty. Still, the question burns. Why wasn't it enough? By June 1964, Mosley's in court. He pleads insanity, but his cold confessions detailing every stab, every move, show a man in control. The jury sentences him to death, later changed to life in prison, when New York's laws shift in 1967. Kitty's family, especially her brother Bill, sit in the courtroom, hearts broken, searching for answers. But this case isn't just about catching a killer. It's about those dark windows, those locked doors, and what they say about us. Wait, y'all, this is where it gets bigger than one night. Kitty's murder didn't just end with Mosley's bars, it rewrote how we understand ourselves. That New York Times story about 38 witnesses sparked a firestorm, but it also gave us a new term, the bystander effect. In 1968, psychologists John Darley and Bib Latane studied why crowds freeze when someone needs help using Kitty's case as proof. Their research showed people often wait for someone else to act, especially when others are around. But later investigations cut that 38 number down, maybe a dozen witnesses at most, and some tried to help like Sophia Farrar, who held Kitty, or the few who called cops despite a broken system. Kitty's death also forced change. New York launched the 911 system in 1968, making it easier to report emergencies, saving countless lives since. Her story became a symbol not just of tragedy, but of humanity's flaws and potential. In 2024 and 2025, Kitty's case is still alive. New documentaries on Netflix and YouTube dig deeper, giving voice to Marianne Zelonko, who loved Kitty and never recovered from her loss. They highlight Sophia Farrar's courage, showing not everyone turned away. Reddit's buzzing with true crime fans, debating, were the neighbors cold or just human caught in fear and confusion? Bill Genovese, Kitty's brother, spoke in a 2024 interview saying her laugh still echoes in his dreams. Winston Moseley died in prison in 2016, but Kitty's legacy endures a reminder to act when someone's in need. Kew Gardens carries her ghost locals, say Austin Street feels heavier at night. This case hits hard. What would you do if you heard Kitty's screams? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, and share this video with friends to keep her story alive. Subscribe for more true crime that'll make you think twice. Stay safe out there, y'all.